You really don't need the table of contents. You don't need it. In fact, you can actually go directly to the first page. It's not in historical chronological order, but it fits just where it needs to be. You may not always find Kuumba, but Kuumba has already found you. In the beginning, God. I could literally stop right there because that's a complete sentence. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, God suspended a sun that it may give life to all creation. You can decide which sun I'm talking about. God also placed 12 hours later a moon in the sky. And that moon has the ability to move the tide in and out twice in 24 hours. We are 90% water. And if the moon can move the tide, shouldn't the moon occasionally move you and I? I'm talking about God as creator. This God who made us in God's own image. Not just physically, but that God created us to also be co-creators. To imagine and then conceive that which we imagine in faith and in mind. God created the heavens and the earth. I don't know if you all are with me or not, but I'm almost done. I don't know if you're with me, but say amen. I'll sit down in about 3 minutes. And with God granting us this wonderful ability to be creators each and every day, my question to you is, why have we grown so comfortable in living in other people's creativity and not embracing our own? It's easy to sing the songs of others. It's easy to stand up and to quote the poems of others, which is a big part of our cultural experience. Of course, at Easter time, we say our Easter speeches. During Black History Month, we stand up and quote all of our great poets. But don't you know God also gave you a mind, and God gave you intelligence, God gave you experience, God gave you a voice. When was the last time you put your own musings to pen and then to paper and then to the voice, so that men and women all over may know that God sure enough did something when he created you? I'm so tired of us singing Hillsong. Yeah. Because the folk at Hillsong, it might sound good, but typically the oppressor's tones do. What did they say? When you hear the music, the psaltery and the harp, bow down and worship the golden image. But what about your song? Because the song that God has placed inside of each one of us is a song that may not work at Hillsong, But it'll work in double love right now. Have I got a witness? The experiences of your life, knowing almost perpetually the rough side of the mountain, being constantly nudged between a rock and a hard place, being like this black candle right here that doesn't, as it begins to burn down, no longer looks like what it started like. You and I have been given through the tests and times of life a song by God. And you may have a nice voice, but you can't sing my song. You may have been trained in the greatest conservatories. You may know how to musically do it, to set hearts on fire. But the real authenticity that comes when it comes to minister in words, in poetry, in drama, in music, is when you acknowledge that the same God who put the heavens and earth together is the same God that made you black as you are, the same God that made you brilliant as you are, the same God that made you wonderful as you are, not because you are just wonderful for being wonderful, but we are wonderful because we were made by a God who sits high and looks low. The next time you look in the mirror, and I hope you take that time occasionally, not just for the purposes of vanity. We are an incredibly vain culture. It's easy to, as I'm wearing tonight, to put on mudcloth. But you know, sometimes wearing this doesn't automatically mean that you're down for the cause. Yeah. The next time you look into the mirror, take a good hard look at yourself. Look at how God blessed you with an expanded nose. Yeah. Look at the things that God opted to give you and I, that we could be walking art everywhere we go. Look at the stride in your walk, the swaggerlicious nature in which you turn corners. That's not a word, but I made it up, and I dare any one of you to challenge me. Look at just how charming and how splendid and how wonderful we are. We are wonderfully and fearfully made. And I understand we've heard this marvelous litany and narrative that speaks to the truth that we experience as a people each and every day. Unequal protection under the law, a lack of affordable housing, unemployment or underemployment. But let me tell you something I have, whether I have a job or not, whether I have money or not, the one thing I have is something God has given me. God blessed me and allowed me to be black on this earth. And because of that, God put something in us, not just the melanin in our skin, not just the ability to run a football faster than anybody else, but God gave us an ability to make something out of nothing. God gave us the ability to take scraps and turn it into table delicacies. God gave us an ability to believe that we can build a radical community of justice and love, and to be able to do it in God's name, to do it because God has created us to be special and wonderful. Kuumba, creativity. Now, with everybody else around you being creative, when was the last time